Um, all right, so I'm going to make this video to expose Mario, who was one of my early infiltrators as far as my time on the internet. So after I had returned home from getting scammed out of all of my money in May 2017 and getting mind controlled or whatever into doing the blood over intent ritual that was set up by the quasi-luminous cult. I did the what was it, the that ritual thing where they said they were going to go to the North Pole, and if you put your blood on paper and claim, whatever, that you intend to bring forth heaven on earth, you'd get to go to the North Pole and escape the Matrix or something like that. And Quasi had made these promises that he kept saying, "Oh, I'm going to go to the North Pole by," I think it was like summer 2017 or something. And then he said, "We're going to come back and bring everybody there 2018." And pretty much all his promises fell through. So, I pretty much realized, well, actually, I started getting attacked by this network. Yeah, because I started making videos in May and June 2017. That's when I made my first videos on YouTube. And, pretty much started just saying stuff that I wanted to say because I thought that it was just an organic community of people sharing their thoughts. As it turned out, it was a psychological operation full of actors and secret society members and other types of so-called people or whatever at best, right? They presented themselves as one thing, but they were actually much different. They were just personas and masks and shills, as people say, performing roles for mind control. But I came in very naive and very weak to this online movement in 2017. I was in May 2017, shortly after doing the whatever it is, BOI ritual and all that nonsense. Anyways, I was very serious about my pure intentions because I had already mentally checked out of this fake system and its corruption at that time as a result of waking up to these revelations concerning, let's just say, corruption late 2016 and all that. So really all throughout 2016 with the revelations and all that came out then. So anyhow, May 2017, I'd been doing a lot of fasting and stuff to, try to, pretty much heal myself and all that because I had seriously bad health at the time, a bad gut or whatever. So yeah, I was 105 pounds in May 2017, and so not in good health at the time, but then June 2017, I started eating the raw diet, the raw animal foods diet, and I promoted it on my channel, the same channel I did the BOI on. And then shortly after that, a channel named Colin Mack with the all-seeing eye for his icon started, attacking me. He made a video and he said I was pretty much said all these nasty things about me or whatever, and was like attacking me for eating the diet right. So anyways, that was my first experience with these network nodes attacking me online anyways, right? Because I'd already gone over the 25 years of infiltration. So this video is going to get to Mario though. So eventually I realized the whole BOI thing was obviously a psyop by fall 2017. And I'll just say there's a lot of details here that I don't want to go over right now, but by like early 2018, I came back online and I made the, channel. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's when I made the first Evil Reflection channel. And pretty much started exposing the Blood Over Intent cult and their lies, because they were claiming that they were going to go to the North Pole and all this stuff, and it was all lies. Quasi-Luminous lied, and I started calling out each and every member, every node or whatever in that fake network. And yeah, that was like February or something like that, 2017 or 2018 rather. And pretty much I had started like speculating, like I don't know, for whatever reason, I just started speculating that these nodes, they didn't seem to act very human to me, but I guess that's, a result of their scripts, right? That's all that is, right? It's just their scripts. That's why they act so inhuman symbolically, but I didn't realize that at the time. So pretty much like I had been getting these thought injections, possibly that, they weren't human or something like this. So by like March or April or something like that, 2017 or 2018, I had made the video about, I was titled something like, like it was based off of the, like it was based off that video game, Mass Effect or whatever, where, like that quote from, I think it was that guy Anderson at the end of the Mass Effect series. He said, we destroy them or they destroy us, something like that, symbolically, obviously. And then Mario shared my video and he was like, wow, you're so great. You're so great. The love bomb phase that all these infiltrators do at the beginning to, make sure that, they can, psychologically mind control you or whatever and make you think that, that they're the good guy, right? So they befriend you, love bomb you, win your trust, and then they start extracting information from you, intel, private details that they leak to the rest of their members, right? They probe your brain and stuff like this psychologically, and then they manipulate you into different types of thought processes, behavioral modifications. And with Mario, he had, shared my video and he was like, oh yeah, God willing, we can meet up one day. And, he said something like this, and he was, trying to remember this best I can. And Mario was pretty much telling me all this stuff, like, yeah, he was the one that introduced me to, by the way, to the Christian Alexei Kanemi channel and all this frequency fence stuff, like pretty much like shapeshifters and supernatural type things. And he got me obsessed over that, with that type of information, and he kept encouraging me, or basically got to a point where he like was mind controlling me or something to make all these videos. But it was all in an effort to discredit me, and he, eventually, whatever, I was mind controlled into the Demon Master 813 fake cult, where he was promoting all this BS about like archangels and Goetia, and not, well, he hadn't even started talking about the Goetia thing yet, actually. So anyways, Mario. And by the way, I think in like February or March 2018, I started talking about the exposing Blood Over Intent cult, pretty much. And yeah, and he knows this very well, but he continues to this day, uses this smear tactic, this manipulative smear tactic to claim that I'm somehow in bed with this BOI cult, when I was the first one pretty much to call out their entire network. And as a result of that, that was the origins of my me receiving like different types of threats and stuff online. So that was early 2018. I was making those videos, right? And then he comes along magically, right? And starts trying to influence my thoughts and behaviors and decisions. And instead of me just, analyzing the lies of their network more professionally and logically, he came in and got me influenced me to be angry, because he was always like talking about, oh yeah, women are terrible, be angry, be mad, be hateful, because this world is unfair, and look how much it's bad stuff it's done to me, and look how much bad stuff it's done to you. So pretty much he was influencing me or whatever to, be more like misogynistic and stuff, or hateful towards society and everybody in general. So, they could discredit me, right? So I could get angry on camera and say things that, narratively don't look as good and aren't as professional, aren't as logical or ethical and stuff like that, which I never really I don't believe like I ever was that type of way, but, originally. But of course, this world was trying to make me more angry and stuff. And I was very sick at the time from all the fasting and the injections and the pollution from living in Asia and China especially. So yeah, he was pretty much like mind controlling me to believe in all types of psyop material or whatever, like the Christian Alexei Kanemi stuff, frequency fence, shapeshifters, supernatural stuff. And he wanted me to talk about that stuff all the time. And he was always like, look at this example, or wow, that was a great video that you made. And then he was telling me too at the time, he was like, I'm sick too, I'm sick. He kept telling me like he had a issue with his sleep or something, and he was addicted to some pill of some type to help him sleep because he had insomnia. And it was pretty much like, oh yeah, woe is me, or some kind of script like that, where I was supposed to relate and sympathize with him, possibly because I was going through my own health issues as well, especially at that time, right? With my gut being wrecked and me just being in the early stages of detoxing through raw foods, right? Like raw animal foods and stuff like that, and organic food, and just trying to clean up my diet, right, and stuff from all the years of toxicity. And he pretty much, and then, by, I think it was April or something of 2018, March or April of 2018, me, him, and Demon Master 813, who known as Arya Davood or whatever, we were in a group call on Discord, and Mario was just magically there, and then somehow for a brief time, I don't know, they were just like, Mario always wanted to talk on Discord on that time. I guess that was the early stages of grooming or mind control, and he was just always going on about like, yeah, Arya's a bad guy, man, I don't know, or something like that. He was always like being like, oh, I don't know about that Arya. And then obviously Arya and him were both involved or whatever, but that's not based on my opinion. That's based on an analytical, logical, based pretty much like on a logical analysis of their, when you map out the patterns of their own behavior over time, right? And I can verify that myself, even though people will say, not people, but the network nodes will try to dismiss that. But anyhow, it was all kayfabe. It was all a psyop, and now I've mapped out the architecture, on the channel that was previously known as Nerve is a Demon Tear, right? So please check out the videos there. I changed the name to Matthew David Wider for full transparency now, merging the timelines, right? So, Mario in 2018 was doing like the love bomb phase or whatever, but I believe briefly, Arya had convinced me to make videos attacking Mario for some reason, so I did it because I was, under Arya's mind control too, but ultimately, yeah, I was getting psyoped very hard, or whatever. And then, you know, like Arya said, oh, I want to help you. Arya Davoud said, oh, I want to help you expose blood over intent or whatever. Arya said that. So I said, okay, let's work together and expose their lies. And then instead of doing like forensic level breakdowns or logical breakdowns of their lies and inconsistencies, Arya Davoud, Demon Master 813, decided to, because he's not a real, he's just one of these personas, one of these network nodes, so he decided to hijack the entire narrative, and he started talking about Goetia demons nonstop, you know, the 72 or Goetia demons or whatever, Solomon spirits. And he would go on about that all day, and he kept saying, oh, Quasi-Luminous is Stolas. Oh, let me think. He said Quasi-Luminous is Stolas, and all these other different Blood Over Intent members were different Goetia demons. And obviously, he just said all that to discredit actual, factual, logical, analytical exposures. So he basically did that to derail all of my momentum or whatever I was trying to build up at that time, when I was just exposing the fact that, yeah, this network is nothing, this Blood Over Intent network is pretty much nothing but lies and deceit and manipulations. And I, you know, just kept hammering that home. And then, you know, like, but then I was associated with Arya, Demon Master, and he was discrediting me through these psyops, like the Goetia demon psyop and all that. And then, you know, so pretty much for a while there, I was talking to Arya. And then I'll just fast forward a bit pretty much to, I don't think I'd been, I think I'd been talking to Mario like on and off, I guess, 2018 to 2000, like mid 2018 to mid 2019. But then eventually I just got sick of Demon Master or whatever, because, you know, he kept looping the same talking points over and over again. There was no evolution of thought. There was no creativity. It was just all nonstop black pill. They're all Goetia demons, and none of it was based on any type of deep down, like it just didn't resonate with me or whatever at all, because it was not something that was, you know, something that you could actually verify or whatever. So it's just all nonsense to discredit me, basically, and mind control me into all this stuff. But at the time, because of Mario's influence, I had been making a lot of videos exposing shapeshifters. And what I wanted to do at the time, basically, was just, you know, look at observable data points, things that we could see on camera, you know, frame by frame, and analyze that. But, you know, Arya wanted to look at cartoons and stories and be like, oh, this guy's face looks like this Goetia entity, so that must mean they're the same entity. And because I'm associated with Matt and Matthew or whatever, you know, that discredits Matthew by virtue of our friendship or association. But by mid 2019, I had just gotten pretty much, I was just checked out mentally on all that Goetia demons psyop that he was running. And then actually Arya had started saying, oh, well, actually, you know, all these conspiracies are wrong, and the people running the world are actually the angels or whatever. And I was just checked out at that point, because I felt like he had betrayed the truth. So I pretty much stopped messaging him on Discord, and then he lashed out at me in some videos and said, of course, I was the most disgraceful living POS that's ever existed. And yeah, I admit that that was a bad move at the time. I should have just told him straight up that I disagreed, but I was still insecure or something, or afraid to. But anyhow, you know, and that was actually shortly after, you know, like in very early 2019, I'd received a bunch of death threats that I'll go into in a later video. So pretty much after I had my falling out with Arya, I had reached out Like, basically, I think I had reached out to Mario, or he had reached out to me, and Mario was like, yeah, see, I'm the good cop. Arya was evil this whole time, wasn't he? Look how bad he's treating you. He's just full of crap with that Goetia demon stuff. He can't prove any of that stuff. It's all nonsense. And I was like, yeah, you're telling me what I want to hear, kind of, Mario. But Mario was like, I think at that time he was still saying,